What's up, y'all? My name's Leticia, and you're listening to Confessions from the Closet, a podcast all about vulnerability and overcoming. It's time we get ourselves unstuck from these boxes and these closets that we've allowed ourselves to be trapped in. We're so much bigger than these boxes we've been in. It's time we go deep, y'all.
Okay.
What is up, guys? Today we are talking with my friend Jen.
Woo!
We are recording this, filming this in a very special room.
Yes.
I hopefully can use some footage
Yeah.
of us in this room on Sunday. This is the intercessory room. Is that what we call it? Right?
Yep.
We call it the red
Intercessory
room.
prayer room. Yep. The red room. Yeah.
So every Sunday
Every Sunday.
we do very loud
Very loud.
worship.
Yes. Yes. And we shout a lot. And then you leave the room and you feel kind of embarrassed because you're like, I wonder who heard me. But then at the same time, you're like, well, at least I got it. You know, like I didn't miss Jesus because I was too afraid to shout out, you know, because most time it's me.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of quiet.
I feel like I'm loud sometimes, but
Oh, yeah, you can be. When
That's
you start
like
to feel the Lord,
singing,
too, I
yeah.
can always tell.
I'm like
yeah.
singing.
Yeah.
Which is why I chose this room. I thought it was special.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're watching the video, you can see this. Usually these, there's clips on the wall, and we have put prayer requests on this
Yeah.
wall. We put, I saw there was pictures up
Pictures
recently.
of families. Yeah.
I actually put up that I would get pregnant and have a healthy
I forgot
pregnancy,
about
labor,
that.
and delivery
Yeah.
before, because it took about a year to get pregnant with Paul.
Yeah.
And so that was up there. It was exciting when I finally got to take it down.
I totally, forgot about that.
Yeah.
You need to give a testimony about that. But she's
here we are.
testifying here right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I felt like interviewing you and maybe even more people in here, but this felt like your room
Oh,
and a
thanks.
safe place too.
Whenever I took over this specific ministry, for me, I just wanted a place that was intimate. Well, you know, obviously prayer is what we do in here, but one of the reasons why we put the pictures on the wall was because I wanted to know who was represented, who we were praying for. If I would have had it my way, we would have had this whole room completely covered with people from the church itself. Just because I think sometimes you can visualize it a lot better than just saying a name. At least you go, okay, I might not know them, but I recognize them, and just have something visual to look at. So, but yeah,
It's good.
I love it. It's my favorite time.
I think it's a safe place. And this is a room where you just feel the Holy Spirit when you walk in.
It's like home.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So it felt like a good place to film this, because my hope and prayer with this podcast is that what we have here and what I've gotten to experience, not just here, but my whole life, and then got to re-experience here,
Yeah.
that can bleed through, podcasts or video,
Right.
where people who don't have this space yet can find it at home.
The key word is yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
yet.
I love that. Yes.
So
Yeah.
I do want you to tell us a little bit about your story, because I think it's pretty awesome.
Okay. From me getting set free.
Yeah, a little backstory in that.
Okay. So my name is Jen. I had a tremendous meth addiction for about 2.5 years in my teenage years, and I had gotten down to 99 pounds, and my liver and kidneys shut down. I had a terrible headache one day, and I was trying not to use. So, normally when you stop doing something like that, your body just responds so different. I don't think it was a withdrawal thing. It was just more of my body was finally settling in, and it just couldn't handle it. And so I went to the emergency room, and long story short, my liver and kidneys shut down. That's why I was having, the things happen that I was. And at that point, I was 18, almost 19, but they told my family anyway that, it was because I was using. And I ended up, being restless and bored, and went on a trip with my mom. And little did I know she had planned a trip to a viewing of Teen Challenge. And so once they said yes and accepted me, I couldn't really not go, because at that point I felt stuck, and I'm a people pleaser. So I'm learning how to not be that way. But at that point, I'm like, well, if I don't go, they're going to know how bad it was. So anyway, I went, like a weekend, I had a real encounter with God. And I knew in that moment, like, I was never going to use again. Like, I knew that my heart was different. Everything changed. And it's not because it challenged. It was just a place that, quieted everything else up. And so now I'm, got married, have 3 kids, and prior to coming to Moore, I kind of gave up a dream to be in ministry, even though I knew that was what I was called to do.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't think I was ever going to get anywhere with it, and I didn't know what it looked like, and I was an intercessor, but I didn't think that. I thought everybody just prayed, and so my first time coming to Moore. Well, it was my second time, but I came to the healing and prophetic rooms, and I was desperate. Like, I was just desperate for God to talk to me, because I just felt so lonely and broken. And even with having a family, like, it wasn't enough. Like, there was this void in my heart. And so I was in the sanctuary, and Catherine was singing, and I just felt like the Lord moving in such a big way. And I remember feeling like hearing the Lord say, you're supposed to get up and pray. And I was like, you're right. I'm not doing that. Like, these people don't know me. It's like, this is somebody, I hadn't even made the transition here yet, fully. And so, the Lord wouldn't let it go. And so I remember, I call it the walk of shame, even to this day, 9 years later. I walked up to the front, grabbed the microphone, because it's an open mic. And I just remember praying against depression, because at that point my husband was struggling, and we didn't know what was wrong with him. And, I just remember saying that. And then all of a sudden it was like this out of body experience, and, whatever took over, I don't even remember what I prayed after that. But I remember going back to my seat feeling like now I can describe it. At the time I couldn't, but he put a key in, and he unlocked it. And from that day forward, within 6 months, I was leading prayer here at the church. And it felt like that was a part of my identity that I didn't really recognize until that point. So now I'm here, and I'm on staff, and I've been on staff for almost 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like that you said walk of shame, because part of our story and how we formed our friendship, I had to go through the walk of shame as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why, a big reason why I wanted you on, is because I think it's such a powerful story, because if that hadn't happened, so many things that have happened in my life wouldn't have happened. You were the first start. And so now I kind of just want to talk about that story, and mine and Madi's experience coming to Moore.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly, but I know we walked in the first day. It was Oliver was getting dedicated. Yeah. My nephew. And I had been wanting to come here for a while, but my sister never invited me. So I thought she had shame and didn't want to invite me, the lesbian sisters. But I felt this pulling on my heart. And before, like you said, you had this longing.
Yeah.
Before we came here, I was going through really bad depression. Wow. And I wasn't on antidepressants anymore. I had been in the past. And I had told Madi, I was crying on my office floor, just crying, because we were happy, but I knew something was missing. Yeah. And I told her, I either need to find a place, or I'm going to have to get back on medicine, because I'm not okay. Yeah. And I cried out. And then that next week, Oliver got dedicated. Wow. And I did not sleep. I was so stressed out, because my thought had always been, we had tried churches, and every time we went in, because my gift is also, what is it? Not empathy. It's mercy, but it's where I can feel. So intercessory, right? Yeah. You can feel other people's prayers. So every time I would go to a church, I could feel people would come sit behind us, and I could feel their prayers, which were, let them not be gay. And I was tired of that, or people telling my daughter that her moms couldn't be married. Wow. And I was like, well, you are. So, yeah. And so when we came here, I was super nervous, but I was doing this training when I used to work with Beachbody, and one of the things they were challenging us, and they're saying, instead of saying, what if they judge me, what if they do this, what if change it and flip the script? And it was, what if they love me? What if they see me? What if they see me for who I am?
Wow.
And we walked in, and I walked in before Madi, and Chantel greeted me.
Of course.
And hugged me like she knew me. And then she did the same thing to Madi, and we talked about it later. And she's like, did you know her? And I was like, no, I thought you did. I thought she knew you. Like, because our marriage, like our wedding happened in New York, we meet a lot of people in town that have seen our wedding photos. So I just assumed it might have been one of those things. Because like we don't know them, but so many people have seen them that they like knew who we were. Yeah. I was like, that was weird. Yeah. But then I think it was the first day you came up to me. It was maybe like the second time we came. You came up to me, and I was with my sister. Yeah. And you asked her to introduce us. Wow. And I, in my head, like I'm already like thinking about what's going to happen, what's she going to say, and nervous. And she said, this is my sister, and this is her wife. And that was the first time I had been introduced as a wife, especially in like a church building. Wow. And that was like the most, I don't know if she knows, it was like one of the most amazing, loving moments I've had with my sister, because I felt seen. Yeah. Like there was no hiding. This is who we are. Right. And
it's like you have arrived. Yeah. You know, because everybody else gets to be introduced that way. We're not hiding. Hey, this is my spouse, you know, whatever. Yeah. And so she introduced, and I don't know, we've never talked about that either. I don't know what your thoughts were, because you were just like, awesome, y'all want to come to the family group? You invited us to the family group right away. Well, and the thing is that I remember, so I don't know if it was the very first time or if it was the second time like you're talking about, but I remember you wearing these suspenders.
What?
Yeah, so you had like a white shirt on, and like these cool, and I thought...
wore them to church?
Yes! Sure I thought, man, she looks cool. Like, I don't know that I could ever wear something like that, you know, so like, and I just remember thinking like you were so pretty, you know, just like she seemed so inviting, and obviously I knew you, I didn't know your story, but I knew that you were married to a woman. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look and know, you know, not in a bad way, but it's one of those things like you're not her sister because, you know, you look different. But I just remember thinking like I'd never, I don't know. I wanted to be your friend, first of all. So you were inviting it warm enough to me to make me feel like I wanted to get to know you. Yeah. And I mean, I love people, but then there's some people that you're like, I feel like we're supposed to be in a relationship, not just like a how are you type thing, but like a lifelong friendship. And so I forgot I invited y'all to home group, but I think you guys came, right?
I don't know that we came yet. We eventually did come.
Yeah, not right away, but yeah. And then when I would see you at stuff, like when you did come to the group, I just thought, oh yay, you know, like I just wanted you to feel welcomed and loved. Yeah. And I had honestly, like, I don't know, maybe that's for a little bit later. So you ask me questions because I'll share this other thing.
I just think that, you know, I don't think it's just for us. I think for everyone that walks in the doors at Moore, it's home. You feel like you're home. And, that come as you are, not as you should be is such a spirit about this church.
It's genuine. It's as best it can be.
It's very real. Yeah. And I've never felt, I know that people have left over the years, but I know that that's something we've also all talked about, is that they just weren't supposed to be here anymore. Right. Not in a hateful way. It was just, that wasn't what was, and so I never took offense to that. No one was ever mean to my face. Right. But I was always feeling welcome, which, like, from the first time we came, after worship, I knew we would never go to another church. This was home. And so then, like, I want to say it was like week 5. Yeah. Worship changed me again, which is where our story really begins. Yes. And they played No Longer a Slave. Wow. And I just kept hearing that. No longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I kept hearing that over and over. And God's like, stop being afraid. This is what you're going to do. And then we did ministry time. Yeah. Pre-COVID. Yeah, pre-COVID. Still do that. Yeah. And y'all were up in line, and God's like, you're going to go get prayer. And I was like, okay, if Jen and Chantel are together. And I looked up and y'all were paired together, which isn't always the case.
No, it's not.
But that day, that was like, I always tell God, like, okay, if this is really you telling me this, do this. And then if he does, then it's confirmation.
Right.
It's like a way he confirms with me. And that was like my confirmation. But then it was like, I told Monty, I'm supposed to go get prayer. And we waited till the very end.
But I think you were like the last one we prayed for that day.
We were the last one standing up
there. Yeah.
And so when I came out, God gave me a word. When I had prayed, and by this point in the podcast, you know, people have heard my story. But I had been praying, you know, God, if this is how you made me, like, I need you to tell me what this means.
Right.
Because you're not taking it away.
Right.
And so I came up for prayer, and God had told me, as I was standing there waiting for the last person to leave, he's like, you're going to tell him. And I'm like, God, no, like, I don't want to do this.
Wow.
He's like, you're going to tell him. And you're just going to just jump. Basically, you're just going to trust fall.
Wow. Which is not always easy. No. You're like, it's a big deal. Yeah.
So this was the first time I had ever really gone and been my truest self when asking for prayer. Because I'd been baptized after I came out. I was baptized when I was young, and I was baptized again.
Yeah.
And I think now that I'm like out in who I am, I feel like it's time to do it one more time.
Right.
Just because it's like I have never hidden myself here.
Yeah.
It's never been an option, and I never had to.
Right.
So I came up, and you and Chantel, and I was like super nervous, like the Holy Spirit heartbeat is what I call it. Like,
yes.
And I wanted to throw up.
So that was your walk of shame.
That was my walk of shame.
Because, you know, it's so different. It's hard.
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
it's literally,
it is.
And that's what I think when I talk about this episode and do the intro, like, I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, I feel like this is that whole, when you're praying for something and you're praying and praying, and then finally God's like, now, jump now. And like, you can't question it. And that was for you the same thing. And for me, I could no longer question it. It was like, God, I've asked for this moment. I've asked for this place.
Yeah.
And when you tell me to do something, I have to jump, which is the same thing with the podcast. He's like, you've been having this on your heart for 2 years, jump. And I'm
so glad you are, though.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will feel like it's too big, or, you know, like, even for you preparing this, you know, reaching out to other people to, you know, you have a vision and other people made it happen with you.
Yeah.
Like, they partnered with you.
Yeah.
You know, you have microphones and all the fancy schmancy stuff, but that just shows, I mean, it goes to show like how much people believe in you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's such a big deal. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't always have that.
No.
You know,
and
so that's even more confirmation in my heart that you were supposed to do it too.
Yeah. It's from God. He's like, you jump, I'll provide.
Yeah.
And here we are. And
so true.
I came up to y'all and I was like, I want prayer because we're here.
Yeah.
And God made me gay. Or I said, I'm gay, I'm married to a woman. God made me gay so that I could be a bridge between the LGBT community and the church.
Right.
And I don't know what that looks like.
Wow.
But I know that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And y'all were so, like, I'm sure, because, you know, I know your head goes as fast as mine.
Yeah.
I'm sure things went so fast, but like y'all responded and didn't react, and you were both so kind. But
gosh, and that's so God too, though. You know, like, I mean, because everybody, I mean, to even in that circumstance, you know, a lot of people won't just submit everything back up to the Father. They'll try to do something out of their own head knowledge and not the Spirit of the Lord. Yeah. And so, like, I just love the fact that the thing is that He prepared you for that day, for such a time as this. He also did the same thing for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay. Anyway,
but so,
keep going.
Just saying, y'all responded, and I don't know that I've ever asked you what all, we've talked a little bit about it, but what all went through your head, because I mean, I know here we are, our friendship is so much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's even grown like this year tremendously too, you know? Yeah.
But I do want to know, like, what went, if you're okay with that, what went through your head? And
obviously, like I said earlier, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that you're a married couple and that you're, you know, gay. And I think when you came up, like, I don't even remember what we said. You might remember what was said, but I don't remember even, I don't really remember any of what took place, like, verbally, you know, because it was so much bigger than that for me.
Yeah.
But I do remember feeling like, I'm pretty sure I said, okay, God, like, she's your bride. And I think, like something you said just a minute ago, I do remember you coming up and you saying, like, I'm gay. And I just felt like the Lord was like, but that's not your identity.
Yeah.
So I think that so many times we base like certain things, like our identity is this, you know, or
Yeah.
I think it hurt my heart a little bit, the fact that you felt like you had to say that. And I don't know why. I remember thinking like, God, she's so much more than just being gay.
Yeah.
You know, just like I'm so much more than, you know, having chronic pain or whatever, you know, like my identity isn't that. Like there's things that were put inside of us, and that's your outward thing. That's not like, that's not who you are, I guess. And I don't know, maybe some people relate to, maybe, I feel like in the community at large, everybody, and I might be wrong, so I might say something. I'm sorry, because I'm you know, new to everything. But I feel like there's some people that, you know, they feel the need to be loud and proud and to, you know, like to verbalize everything about being gay or transgender, anything of that. But like, I think for me, from the outside looking in, and obviously I don't know why everybody does what they do. I mean, whether you're gay, straight, black, white, like we all have things that we do because it's almost like a not a coping mechanism, but
protection.
Yes, it is.
Ourselves.
And so
like, I'm going to say it so that you don't have to say it.
And I do that with, I know I need to lose weight, but you know, like if I go to the doctor, I think that they're thinking something that they're not even thinking.
Yeah.
You know, and so when in your circumstance, like, you know that we're thinking something, but we're not thinking it to the magnitude in that moment that you were.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess I just remember feeling like, she's so much more than just being gay.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to you.
Yeah.
And telling the Lord, like, you know her better than anybody else. You have to speak, because if we do it out of our own deal, we're going to mess it up, whether we're praying for you or another couple or anybody for that matter. Like that's so important to seek the Father, because he knows you more than anybody on the planet.
Right.
And so I just remember thinking like, you have to speak to her, because it's a hard deal to come up, especially when, you know, somebody's gay, you know, because the church world doesn't handle things the way that they should, you know, and I'm just glad that you did it, you know, and I'm glad that I got to be a part of it, you know, obviously. So, yeah.
It was, and now that we're talking about it, I think, because I don't like labels, like, and I don't like the identity of having to say it. Like, I don't, it's not who I am. Even mom, like mom is a title. It's not who I am. It's not my deepest part. It's not what I was just created to do. It's one of my favorite things to do, but it's not
the only
who
thing
I am. And I think that, like, when you were saying it, I think that I really think God made me say that. Like, I remember him telling me to say that, because it was like, look, just say it, because you need to know that you're safe. You're safe being this.
Yeah.
You're safe being your truest self. You're safe. Like, this is where you were, this is what I've prepared you for, is this place, and to jump and trust that. And then he caught me through y'all's like calmness and y'all's prayer. And I don't remember what all we prayed. I think we prayed a lot about just like that path being clear and for protection and for favor, which is all that I've had since I've been here.
Right. I do remember, I want to say that was the time that I asked you if you played an instrument or if you sang. And I don't remember anything else of the conversation, but I remember feeling like you did, and telling you that I would connect you with Catherine, you know, because I'm like, well, if you do, like, and I think you told me you were self-taught and whatever else, like God gave it to you. So I do remember that. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Which is what led to like my whole path here, is that you asked me that, and I was like, yeah, I do. I sing and I play guitar. Yeah. And then we talked more on Facebook later and started to build our friendship. And then you connected me with Catherine, who's our worship leader, who her episode might be, it's either going to be after or before you. I don't know at this point, but to hear that story too, because you connected me with her, and then I don't know if it was you or both of y'all talked to Daryl, and Daryl wanted me on the team from what I understood. Yeah. And, you know, that took its own time, but here we are 5 years later.
Gosh, I can't believe it's been that long already.
I barely play guitar, I learned how to play the piano. I'm now like
I know.
on
That's the
keys
main
every
thing you
week.
do on Sundays.
Yeah, I play the keys every week. And that was, what's funny is one of the people who left the church gave me a word like right around, it was after you had prayed for me. We'd been there for a minute. And she came up to give me a word. Madi was somewhere around. And you say people know we're gay. So many people think Madi sings on stage. They're like, you did a great job. And she was like, that was my wife. We have big teeth and big smiles, but like,
but you look
white,
totally
short hair, shaved side. I mean, totally different.
So funny to me. So anyway,
they don't
shows sometimes how much people actually pay attention. You're like, do you really listen and see or no? Yeah. Not in a mean way, but you're kind of like, really? Like, okay, sure.
Only 5 years later, it's a little obvious. I've been pregnant. She has Apollo. Like, we've dedicated both of our children in the church.
Right.
If you're like, can't, yeah.
Anyway.
I've also given my testimony, so it's out there now. But she came and gave me a word and said, you know, the Lord showed me you during service or during worship, and you were playing the piano.
Wow.
And you were, every time I played the piano, I was ministering to people. And I didn't play the piano at the time, which I had wanted to learn the piano, but I had never played it. And then a little bit after that, Natasha and Graham were moving and offered a piano. I was like, I'll take it. And I still have it.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I still have
awesome.
it. It's never been tuned since I've had it. Still sounds like a saloon piano, but that's how I've written so many songs on it. I practice on it. That's how I learned. And then Matt threw me on stage and I've become that. But it all started with me taking that leap of faith.
Yeah.
The walk of shame as it felt, because you're terrified. And man, even just saying that right now, the walk of shame, because it's like the shame is falling off of you as you walk. Like it's like God's releasing the shame from you.
It's so important too. It's important to be obedient. I think, like, even, going back to my experience, like, I think that, sometimes we're so much in our heads and, there's all these things stirring up that you almost feel like it's too big, or you're not in the right place, or, what are people going to think? And like having that experience, I think, like, I've said this before, I've said it from the stage, on prayer nights, whatever, like, had I not been obedient in that moment, I wouldn't be on staff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had an encounter with the Lord in the capacity that I did. I wouldn't know part of my identity. I mean, yes, it could have came along later, but the reality is that I just remember telling him, like, nobody knows me here, but they're not, like, I don't know. I just think, like, you go into somebody else's house and you're not just going to, like, get on their stuff.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy because they don't know me.
Yeah.
But to this day, like, you remember your first, I remember it, but then other people on the outside do. And so there's a couple people here at the church that remembered, and it's kind of weird when they say it to me, but they remembered my very first time getting on the mic, and they remember what I said more than I do.
Yeah.
Secondly, the response and the way that the Spirit of the Lord shifted the room, like, is still so profound to them.
Yeah.
The way that Daryl responded, the way that they felt about it. And I share that to say, like, I remember the first time praying with you. I remember the first time you got on stage. I remember, praying with you about getting pregnant with Apollo and having walked all these, like, little stuff and big things out with you. Yeah. Like, it always will resonate in my heart in such a big way because it's like I got to be a part of these journeys with you. Yeah. Like a lot of your firsts. Yeah. Just like other people have done with me. So had I not done it, or other people, if they feel like they don't know where to begin, just do it. Just try.
Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take the walk of shame.
Take the walk of shame. Which is true. And now we're in this season where even this Sunday, like, when we were in the room praying between services, because, I get here for first service worship and then I come in here to worship with you before I go do worship again.
Yeah.
I felt like God was, like, reminding me who I was before I came out, because I was way more free. I was hiding a part of me, so I wasn't completely free, but, like, I was more free in walking in my power that he's given me and my authority that he's given me.
Right.
And I think I'm finally grabbing all that back. Like, he's been healing me these past 5 years of the trauma and the pain of what happened, with coming out and losing friends and having to quit a job because it was just too much. And I'm thankful for all that, at this point. But he was just like showing me like future me, he's like a glimpse into the future of just walking in more authority, but like my personality coming back. And I've told Money, I was like, I'm not myself yet. Like, you don't even know. Like, I was obnoxious. Like, I was like,
yeah, I could see that.
Soberly freedom. Like, I didn't have to have a drink to be comfortable. Like,
right.
And he's just reminding me that like that shame and that the trauma and the walls, like the tough skin I've put up, it's coming down.
Amen.
Which I think like this is something that's going to help with that, because I knew like however many, it was like 8 years ago, I think 8. So mine is almost 10. So 9 years. I think I've been out for 9 years is what I figured out.
Wow.
9 years. I came out, I was 24. So Maya was like already 1, right? Like, I wasn't even out of the closet when Maya was born, which is funny.
Oh my gosh, isn't that weird to think about?
Now I've adopted her. I was like, sorry I wasn't there. I was still hiding.
Yeah.
But, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
That happens.
Yeah. Oh, no, I remember praying in my apartment when I was coming out, and my boss was sending me these emails of all the reasons it was wrong and the scripture and all this stuff. And I'm just like crying out, and God's like, this is your ministry. Like, this is what I made you gay, not to have a tortured life, not to be lacking. I made you gay because you are going to help other people not feel this, not have to go through this, or if they are, to like help them.
Yeah.
And as I've been preparing for this podcast and the video, and I just feel like this is that ministry really beginning.
Wow.
Because, I've gotten to minister here, and I've done a lot here just through me and Madi being here and getting to sing and getting to give prophetic words, which is, I've been doing that since I was 5. Like, that was in my, that's what I was raised
It's part of your DNA.
Yeah. Yeah. But now like I told you the other day during prophetic ministry, Lyndall's like, do you have anything? Do you have anything? And he's always asking me. And I'm like, I'm like,
he includes you in
praying for it, Lyndall. I'm trying. And when I do, like, but the fact that he's like
nudging
he
you.
knows that the Lord's going to speak through me, and then that I'm given, I guess, that authority and that freedom to do it. It's not like, no, we're going to hide her. I've never been hidden.
Yeah.
And so just the freedom that here we are recording in the church and using church equipment and in the prayer room. And, I feel like I've done almost all that I can of my reach here is, there'll be more things that happen, but like, I feel like this is like part of that ministry. And I want everyone to have more. Yeah. More of him, but more like a piece of more church. And I hope that,
and like from the outside, looking in from the outside or whatever, however you word that, like a lot of, in the church, I hadn't really, like, if somebody was gay, even if you had your like, I'm pretty sure from people that you've thought maybe were, they were still hiding. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think sometimes, like, the Lord, he never, like, puts you on blast, like, because he wants, but there was this part of me that knew, like, I could tell certain things, or take out even being gay, like, when somebody was broken, when somebody was lonely, when they were, suicidal. Like, the beauty about the Holy Spirit is that he will highlight people for whatever reason, especially to me, because I always feel I love people genuinely. I try to to do the best I can, but because I think when you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes, that's what intercession is. Like I think it was Jeremiah, like he wasn't even in sin or not sin. He wasn't even participating in certain things, but he had such a heart to intercede that he would just stand in the gap for those who didn't really understand yet. Yeah. And when I heard that in a sermon one time, I just thought to myself, like, that's who I am. Like, that speaks to my heart so profoundly, because like I just want to see everybody. Now I lost my train of thought. I just want to see everybody like free, and I want to see people like loved on, and I want to be used in that way to like be able to encounter somebody, to come in their midst, and like the Lord used me as a vessel to intercede. I had been interceding for you and Madi since the first time he came to the church. Yeah. I didn't have to come out and say, hey, I'm praying for y'all. Like, it was just something that the Lord laid on my heart, because I wanted so much for you to feel loved and to feel like you were important. Yeah. And it, I want to be like that for everybody. Yeah. But I did feel that connection in praying and such. And so I don't remember why I went down that road, but it's okay. Yeah.
When I do the replay, we'll know.
Yeah. We'll know. It'll come back. Yeah.
But I do think, I don't know. My prayer is that this blesses people, and I think that they'll fill our hearts. Okay. So we've told our stories, but now I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
I'll
do my best to answer them.
You've done great.
Okay.
So before meeting us, what were your thoughts?
This is
and
always,
it's okay, and it doesn't.
Okay,
and
we've talked. It's not that we haven't talked about it. Yeah. It's just one of those things. Like I never want to. I mean, I'll just throw it out there. So before meeting y'all, I mean, if somebody came into something, I would, like, if I knew. I think I felt more. How do I word it? Like that it will. I mean,
it's okay.
That the Lord could set people free that were gay. Like giving life, creating life, based on what you're always taught.
Yeah. That's what I was taught.
Right. Is that it does take a man and a woman, which is still true. You had a donor. If you wouldn't have had the donor, that is, there is some truth to that. But I think for me, I just thought, I guess I felt like if you were gay, your life was so much harder. And I think that personally, no parent wants their kid to come and tell them that, because not because you feel like you're in sin, but because you never want your child to go through more pain, their life to be harder than it needs to be. Yeah. And so, based on what I was taught, and what I read, I would have just prayed that you would be set free. Yeah. To anybody, not just you specifically, but anybody.
Okay, so then, and I know it's hard to say, but it was vulnerable and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But then you met us.
Yeah.
And how did your heart change?
Obviously,
we're really good friends.
The thing is that something that I realized even yesterday, even when we were talking about it yesterday, is how inhumane it is to look at a group of people, whether it's their sexual orientation, it's, they're disabled, whatever. I mean, I don't even know how to explain that totally, but how wrong it was that I judged something before I even understood it. Yeah. Right. And so meeting you guys, y'all changed me in such a profound way, because for the first time, it wasn't something people talk about gay people, but everybody wants to talk about something they don't understand or they don't know. And then once you experience somebody, and have somebody move your heart in such the way that y'all did, for me, I look at y'all just like you're a married couple and you're raising children, and I would go to bat for you any day of the week. If somebody were to say something negative, it makes me want to come unraveled, because I'm wait a minute, do you stop to understand their hearts? Do you know that they're just like you and me? They're just gay. it's just two women instead of me and my husband, like, or you and your husband. The reality for me is that, like, y'all do better at some things than I even do, like raising your family. Like, there's no difference except for, like, nobody ever comes, like, and this is probably TMI, but, like, I don't think people come up to me and Robert and this is so cool. I don't know what to do. This is something I've thought about, so, bear with me. But, like, nobody walks up to us and is like, I wonder what they do in the bedroom. I wonder how that works. Yeah. I mean, but people do it to other sexual, like when somebody's gay. Couples, yeah.
Like, it's
and
about,
so you're
that's
like,
all we're about or something.
You're like, I mean, you don't make out in front of everybody. I don't either, though. Yeah. Like, I mean, as you get older, I mean, it's so funny the things that you think people think about and that you once thought about, and you're like, I don't know, like, I love you guys. And even meeting, well, I don't know if I can go into that because she hasn't shared her story yet.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, no. So never mind. But I think when you dine with somebody, like Jesus talks about everybody being welcome at his table. Mm-hmm. Like, when you dine with somebody that's different than you, like, you grow from me and I grow from you.
Yeah. And
there's things that instead of just running away from it, I think, the people that have left here, they didn't know how to deal with the awkwardness. Mm-hmm. They had to have all the answers, and what they were, and some of these people I love tremendously. It was really hard for me when certain people left. But if you don't know, how about you start talking? Yeah. How about you, like we should get to a point where we don't just negate somebody because of their sexual orientation. Yeah. My marriage hasn't always been great. Like, I mean, I have stuff in my own life, that just because you're gay doesn't discount you. Yeah. And I just think that people should recognize, like, there's so much more to life. Like, if y'all weren't in my life, it would, like, break my heart. Yeah. I needed you and I didn't know I needed you. Mm-hmm. I needed you to change my mind and to allow a place in my heart that I thought once was so different to be. I needed to go before the Lord and talk to him. Yeah. Not just what everybody's taught me. Yeah. And so I've had an unraveling, and sometimes you're like, okay, like, it's taught me to go this way so that I can understand not just you, with anybody, with any relationship. Yeah. Like, instead of discounting it and not understanding things, I just feel like it gets me closer to the Father because of getting out of what you think or what you have been taught. Yeah. My life is so much bigger now, and I'm so thankful for that. Yeah. That was a long, like,
no, it was good
to get to that
because you
point.
even answered the next question I was going to ask. Okay. So it was like, oh, perfect.
Okay.
Because it's something that I've always said is, like, why does my marriage have to be about sex? Like, we pay bills. I fold laundry more than anything else in my life.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I am just like everyone else.
Correct.
I'm not some, like, perverted horn dog. Like,
right.
No, I'm just a normal person.
Right. You're just like me. We talk about the same stuff.
And I think like you said, you got to walk in people's shoes. And that's something, as I have come out and I've come to more, and I've had to be respectful of other people's processes. Right. I'm sure I've done it before, but my goal has never been to push my, like, I need to be accepted, I need this entitlement. It's just like, God, like, let them see you, let them see me, and you work on their heart. It's not my job to change anyone's heart. It's just my job to be me and to be kind and loving, which I'm very shy, so I can come off like rude, but it's just me that I'm insecure, and that's something I think the Lord's working on, especially this year, is to, like, let those walls down to where I'm more approachable. Yeah. Because I'm not mean. I'm just, like, terrified of people.
But if they don't know that,
I seem very mean.
Yeah. Like, well, and I don't think you seem mean. I just think, like,
I think my walls are very obvious.
Well, and I think it's just because it's like, last week, for instance, I said too much in our staff meeting about my physical.
You did not say too much.
Oh my Jesus. Like,
you were
yeah.
vulnerable.
And so I was extremely vulnerable. I could not contain my emotions. And that is something like I work really hard on. I don't know, like to cry when I was a kid, it felt like such a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, Lord, like he's playing a joke on me now because I cry about everything most of the time. And so I'm like, whatever. But I felt like I, shared too much. And I really like had this sense of like putting like hide me, And I think that, sometimes when I think about like what you were saying, to be vulnerable is it's an awkward place to be, but it's like it sets you free in so many ways. Yeah. And so like for you, you're learning to be vulnerable in a setting that, in my opinion, has been so hurtful to so many people who are gay.
Yeah.
And like, I think the thing that I love about this place, yes, I work here, but beyond that is that like Daryl has this ability to look past what normal people would get stuck at and to see what God has created you to do. Yeah. And I love the fact that he and so many others, like they look past one thing, not just because you're gay, but they look past it and go, well, she has a gift, right? Like, why should her sexual orientation discount her? Like, to me, I think that we need to do that more and more in big ways. Yeah. And so for you, like, we love you. Yeah. But I think that there's still this other voice that's like, much like with anybody, that wants you to feel like that's not, like, I don't know. I'm not saying that that's you, but sometimes I'm like, I know I do it in other settings.
I do it.
Yeah.
We all need to look past, it's like he says, look at a man's heart, not his outer appearance, because that's part of my outer appearance. It's part of my outward thing.
Yeah.
It's not my heart.
Correct.
Obviously it's my heart. I love my life. Yeah. But it's not, it doesn't discount me.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
So much more in everybody though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everyone. It's like I said, everyone has some kind of closet. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to wrap it up, but I thought about like a question I wanted to ask. That was just a fun question.
Okay.
Because.
Yay.
So and I'll do like a clip of the song when I get home, but what is like your favorite worship song right now?
Worthy of It All.
Worthy of It All.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I sang that one on Sunday.
I know. So good. I was so proud of you. I was like, yes, she stepped out. I was like, you changed the whole thing.
It was good. Okay. It was fun. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like we'll probably have to have one other one.
Yeah.
So we always talk about really cool stuff.
I know. And then you don't even know what you say. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I'm sure as you listen to it again, you'll be like, oh, we could have talked about that. Or, I mean, you're like me in that way. Like one thought, one thing can lead to 20 things. Yeah. Because you're in depth. Like, I don't know if y'all know this about Leticia, but like the thing that I love the most, and I know we're wrapping up, is that you can go into like deep wells of your thoughts. And like I think you and I connect so much in that because we're like, well, what about this? Oh yeah, did you think about that? And I just admire like you put up with my ADHD, like do. Oh yeah. Oh wait. And I'm like, if she can have a conversation with me and we can sit down and do this, we are so going to be friends forever. Yeah. Because it's not easy. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for our friendship.
Me too.
I think I would just want to encourage you in this moment and take this opportunity to like all the things you said on Sunday in here about like God doing things, like he's doing them.
He is.
He's going to use you in all of the ways that he's put on your heart, and he's already using you, and you've changed my life. Obviously, if you hadn't pushed for me to meet with Catherine or Daryl or whatever, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Yeah. And you just saw me, and thanks for seeing me.
Aww.
And so you do such a good job at loving people. Like that is your greatest gift, and don't ever be ashamed of it, because it does change other people's lives, not just mine, not just Maddie's. Yeah. And so I'm thankful for you, and I love you. I'm excited about.
And thanks for doing the same thing for me. Yeah. Like I love that you challenge me, and I love that some of our conversations are just so profound, you know, and I get off the phone and I'm like, I didn't think about that before, you know? I love that you make me a better person and more, like, I don't want to say human, but like, sometimes we can just be so super spiritual that we don't think outside our box. And I just love that you've pushed me to like think deeper and to go places that I don't honestly think, had I not known y'all, I think I'd still be stuck, you know, and y'all being so transparent and so understanding. And like, one thing you did say is like, you don't want to push, like, you know, everybody has their own process. Like, I've processed, you know, and I'm such a better person because like we're in relationship. And so you make a difference.
Thanks.
A lot. So I'm very grateful that you came and that you've done everything you've done and you've pushed and you've just like positioned yourself even when you thought that it was all not going to be anything anymore when you came out. And so a lot of people need to realize like your journey here is beautiful, but it wasn't always easy.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to listen to podcasts that you do. I'm glad I got to be the first one to record with her, with you, but I'm excited to hear like the fullness of this whole thing come out.
Excited.
So
thank you.
Yeah. Amen.
And thank you for everyone listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
It was good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We did it.
Amen.
All right.
That's a wrap.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to my mom's podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and give this video a big thumbs up. Also, thanks for your comments and your feedback. Hey guys, thanks. Hey guys, thanks for listening to my podcast. Oh gosh.